All right. Yo, this Uncle Dre.
One second.
All right.
And 3, 2, 1.
Yo, this Uncle Dre, and I got something to say. Yo, I just came back from the movies. I went to go check out Bad Boys for Life, Bad Boys 3, however you want to call it. You know what I mean? Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. It was all right. I dug it. You know, it served its purpose. You know, it's not the same as the first two. You know, it's more drama and less comedy. You know, it takes a serious toll in this one. They're older now. They're in their 50s and things like that. It's a couple old man jokes in there and a couple Viagra jokes. You know, but none of those, a couple of grape sodas, none of them type jokes or nothing like that. Those guys aren't in this one. But in this one, Will and Martin, they have this, I don't know, this tactic crew similar to Sylvester Stallone's crew in The Expendables 3. He got a young gun squad, basically. So they in there, they protecting them. I don't want to give away too much of the movie, you know, because, you know, people may not have seen it. However, I haven't, you know, heard too many people like raving about it as the first two films. Well, like I said, maybe because it's more serious than comedy. So it is what it is. But I want to talk about also, because like I said, I don't want to give away too much of Bad Boys 3. Like I said, it's a good movie and it serves its purpose. And it's cool. It's worth to go see, worth to go check it out. Get out the crib, kill that afternoon, kill the evening, you know, go check out Bad Boys 3. I would recommend that. But I also want to talk about the origins of which the cop comedy duo came from. You know, and as far as comedy and the way it's presented now, maybe someone would tell me, I don't know, Dragnet was that, but whatever. But as far as my opinion and thoughts and things like of that nature, you know what I'm saying, like the Bad Boys and the Lethal Weapons and the Beverly Hills Cop, you know what I'm saying, it had came from these two cats. You know, this was the first movie, you know what I'm saying, Cotton Comes to Harlem with Raymond Street Jock and Godfrey Cambridge. That's where the detective duo came from, you dig? And they had a sequel. You know what I'm saying, Come Back Charleston Blue. And the sequel to me is hilarious. I actually enjoy the sequel better than I do the original because in the sequel, it's funny as hell, they have a midget hitman. And he goes around terrorizing niggas from the waist down. And you know, and there's also this mythical character in the film, you know, Charleston Blue. You don't see him, but people talk about him throughout the film. And a lot of people really don't, I don't know, talk about or heard of those joints. Because when you think of, you know, the cop duo, you think of Miami Vice and New York Undercover and, you know, Beverly Hills Cop and Lethal Weapon and things like that. But they never really mention, you know, the Cotton Comes to Harlem films. And also Ossie Davis directed the first one. And the late, great Donny Hathaway and Quincy Jones, they did the soundtrack for the second one. And both stories take place in Harlem, early 70s. The first film, which had Red Fox and Helen Martin from 227. The first film focuses on a jive-ass preacher, prophet, whatever you want to call him. You know, focus on him and him lying to the community and basically bleeding the community and taking poor folks' money and living a lavish lifestyle. And, you know, Coffin Ed and Gravedigger Jones, that's the characters of the film, of the franchise. You know, they go around busting heads and, you know, and telling jokes and whooping coons and corrupt crackers' asses. And, you know, I don't know if they'll have it on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, you know, movie joint you subscribe to. But matter of fact, Brown Sugar. I bet you Brown Sugar will fuck around and have it. They'll fuck around and have Cotton Comes to Harlem. You know, and the second film, like I said, Come Back Charleston Blue, that was about a photographer turned drug dealer. And then you got the midget hitman going around killing motherfuckers. And then you got the mystical Charleston Blue. And the reason why they call him Charleston Blue, because he was an old school gangster from the 1930s. And he would go around and instead of shooting folks, he would cut them with a blue razor that was manufactured in Charleston, North Carolina. So both movies got it, and the second film has more consciousness to it. Has more consciousness and more like awareness to what's going on in society and like that transition back in the 70s, whether you want to go the militant route or the hustler route, you know what I mean? It displays that. And you know, like I said, also Donny Hathaway, amazing voice. You know, he did the soundtrack. That's where that song comes from. Little ghetto boys playing in the ghetto street. What you want to do when you grow up and have to face responsibility. Remember, Dr. Dre sampled that joint on the Chronic. But yeah, you know, it has like that going on, and the heroin epidemic that was rising during that time period. So it has a lot of more social and political thoughts in the second film versus the first film. That was, you know, that was still, you know, had some serious points of view as far as like preachers, like pulpit pimps. If you want, you know, that's what I call them, pulpit pimps. You know, you pimping the community and shit out of money, and you ain't doing a damn thing to put nothing back into it. And, you know, I always say that about a lot of these, like, black churches, you know. Y'all, I mean, I know you have fews and twos that, you know, they'll let a nigga sleep on the pew at night, you know, cook them up a spaghetti dinner. But at the same time, in my opinion, I think if, like, the eldest member, like, if she been in that joint since, like, the 50s or the 60s or whatever, like, when that person passed away, Sister Odell or Brother Thornton, whatever, they should get a free funeral. All the work they put in, all the service they put in, all the church dinners they done cooked and all that shit, they should get a free funeral. And also they should be their children and grandchildren, if they can't get a scholarship, at least get some type of partial scholarship or some type of assistance, you know what I mean, to if they want to pursue college or trade school. That's just my opinion about, you know, the church ties and stuff like that. You know, and that's getting back to the Cotton Comes to Harlem character. My man, Calvin Bridgehart, I forgot the brother's name. Lockhart, that's his name, Calvin Lockhart. Calvin Lockhart, he plays the pulpit pimp in Cotton Comes to Harlem. And like shucking and jiving folks out of money, and he has different people on his ass because he's a shady dude. And He also played a good character. You know, he's the original Biggie Smalls. A lot of people, I don't know, maybe people think Notorious B.I.G., you know what I'm saying, Christopher Wallace, you know, he's Biggie Smalls, which he is, you know what I'm saying, but he got that from Calvin Lockhart and Let's Do It Again with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier. That's where that came from. Which ain't a damn thing wrong with that. Don't get me fucked. That's actually good that he named himself after that, because I never understood this. Like, why do rappers name themselves after Italian gangsters? You dig? I never understood that concept, because historically speaking, the mob didn't like niggas. They called us moolies, all types of names. Moolie, eggplant, soul brother number 3, whatever. Just call us all types of goddamn names. And then they also flooded our community with drugs. And you had cats like Nicky Barnes and people like that, you know what I mean? Like, going to them and distributing that shit. You dig? So I never understood that. And then like, and they'll have videos imitating like gangster films and shit like that. I never got that, but shout out to Biggie Smalls for, you know, naming himself Biggie Smalls. You dig? And you know, going back to Cotton Comes to Harlem and Come Back Charleston Blue, I don't think we're going to witness these kind of films again, because it was too much what they call nowadays toxic masculinity, aka strong black man. Because a lot of this toxic masculinity shit, they always referring it to black men, and you know, they always parade the weak, they always parade and promote the weak black man or the homosexual black man, and the strong alpha black male, he's considered the bad guy. He's Tony Montana in the restaurant. You need people like him so you can point your finger and say that's the bad guy. You dig? But these guys were good guys, you know, Coffin Ed and Gravedigger Jones. They was righteous. They was for the people. They was trying to stop the job asses and the coons and the manipulating homosexuals and all this shit that's going on now. Coffin Ed and Gravedigger Jones would be out there fighting crime to stop that shit. You dig? And now, you know, you got motherfuckers like being soft in movies, like you a cop and everything, but like, damn, homie, like, shit, man up, nigga, shit. You crying and shit. I don't know, you see that a lot in movies though. Even in the goddamn, what's that movie? It kind of reminds me of, what's that movie called with Ray Liotta and Kurt Russell, and Ray Liotta was the cop. It was unlawful entry or something like that. It's a new joint out with Michael Ealy and Megan Good, The Intruder. It kind of reminds me of that. And of course, they got Michael Ealy, the black guy, towards the end. If you haven't seen it or not, whatever, is making a point. They got this motherfucker getting all beat the fuck up, thrown over the goddamn banister. He fall, hit his head on the chandelier, his head on the table, all this shit. His woman gotta save him. Like, damn. And you know, even though I like Us, that was kind of like that too in Us, where the woman was the savior. I don't know if that's a trend going on. I think it is a trend going on in black films lately, where like the man is the woman and the woman is the man. That's how they got it portrayed now. But you know, that's why instead of, you know, people keep saying, like a lot of like people on TV say, you know, we gotta have a seat at the table. We gotta have a seat at the table. Man, fuck that seat at the table shit, nigga. You got to build your own, for the simple fact you got to tell your own stories properly. You know, cats like Gordon Parks and Sam Greenleen and Ivan Dixon and Ozzie Davis and, you know, all those black, great, brilliant storytellers, those guys are gone. And they don't want them coming back neither. In no kind of way. They want to keep it how it is. But I'm saying that to say, like, instead of, you know, wanting to pull a seat up to the table, build your own table and tell your own stories. You know, that way, you know, your shit'll get put out thoroughly. But, you know, that's all I had to say. I had to put my thoughts out there today. You know, this is Uncle Dre, and I'm out. Peace.